Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolk Knits. Today I want to chat about something that has been a topic of conversation for fans of slow fashion and handmade items, or just living a little bit more sustainably for quite a while now, and that is a capsule wardrobe. I have really been thinking a lot about what is involved in a really good capsule wardrobe. I rounded up some patterns that I really feel like are a great jumping off point to create your own handmade wardrobe. So let's dive right on in. Hello y'all, and welcome back to YoungFolk Knits. My name is Casey, and if you're new here, this is a channel where I like to chat all about my love of fiber arts. It's mainly about knitting, that is my first love, but I also share about sewing and spinning and really whatever other crafts I might be getting up to. I also will occasionally share about living on a small farm here in Arkansas, where my husband, myself, and our children are beekeepers. We love raising gardens and chickens and animals and spending time outdoors here in the foothills of the Ozarks. So if any of that sounds like it might be your cup of tea, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future content. Today is all about a capsule wardrobe, and not just a capsule wardrobe, but very specifically a handmade wardrobe. It really feels like knitting and sewing have been around since the beginning of time. With the rise of fast fashion, handmade items were almost considered things for the people who couldn't afford to buy fast fashion. But thankfully, in the past few years, there has really been an influx of the general public back into the love of making with your hands and really enjoying all of these slow crafts. So because of that, I feel like there's now so many more patterns available that the general knitter and sewist can follow to create stylish, modern, but also very classic and utilitarian pieces for their wardrobe. It's not just, old patterns or patterns that you wouldn't consider to be part of a stylish wardrobe. I am a huge fan of a capsule wardrobe. I think that there's so many benefits from it. There's less waste. I think Americans especially have kind of fallen into that trap of more is better, when really more is just more. And my grandmother was someone who spent a lot of time in different countries all over the world, and she really instilled in me the truth that I feel like having a few pieces, but them being real quality pieces, is a much better option than just having a lot of less quality pieces. And that's something that I think we as knitters and sewists and crocheters or whatever handmade craft that you enjoy, I think that that's something that really resonates with us. I also think that there are quite a few people who are just now becoming more aware of the craft of knitting and sewing, and the fact that you can make really lovely, well-fitting, stylish pieces. So they're joining us in the handmade world. And because of that, I thought it would be a lot of fun to make a video with a roundup of patterns I think would be an absolutely great jumping off point to creating your own handmade capsule wardrobe. So I want to start off first with some knitting patterns, and then I'm going to finish up with a few great sewing staples. Before we get started, I do want to share what I'm wearing. this is my ranunculus top, which is a pattern by Midori Hirose. To me, this is an absolute must for a capsule wardrobe. I will just say that before we get started. It's a lovely pattern with some nice simple lace. It's knit up fairly quickly. You've got a pretty big gauge, and by changing your fiber base, you could knit it with a fingering weight yarn, and you're going to have a really open and drapey fabric. You could knit it with a worsted weight yarn, and you're going to have more of a warm, cozy sweater. So by adjusting that, you can definitely get a different end result. This I did knit with a sport weight summer yarn, and I have to say I wear this all the time. I have made multiple summer ranunculi, and it is a major part of my handmade wardrobe. I have my iPad here, and I'm going to start off with a bundle I have created in Ravelry for some nice staple wardrobe pieces. And in preparing for this, I actually read quite a few different articles on what has been suggested and widely accepted as really good staple pieces for a capsule wardrobe. And I'm just going to start off by saying every article I read had something different, and I think it definitely depends a lot on where you live. If you live in warmer climates, then your wardrobe is going to consist of a lot more summery items. If you live in colder climates, just naturally, you're going to require a lot warmer fibers. And so because of that, I think that each individual has to decide for themselves what is going to be most used in their capsule wardrobe. Here in Arkansas, we do get all of the seasons. We have a couple of months of cold winter. We have many months of hot summer. And then we briefly have some fall and spring weather as well. So I feel like for me, it is important to have some pieces that can transition well throughout all the seasons. Now, there's definitely a few items in a capsule wardrobe that most individuals probably would need to purchase instead of buy. For instance, your shoes. That's not something that I personally am going to be making myself. I do think that you can sew or knit some really nice bags, but one nice handbag, things like that, I think it's nice to be able to purchase those. And also maybe a couple of layering pieces that you would wear under your clothes, I think is nice to purchase, like some t-shirts or some lightweight long sleeve shirts. These patterns specifically are ones that I feel like are perfect for the spaces in a wardrobe that you can create yourself. The first little section I want to talk about is in the short sleeve t-shirt type of knitted garment group. Again, these patterns are nothing new, nothing groundbreaking. You've probably heard of most of these patterns, but I do think that what makes for a successful capsule wardrobe are items that are extremely utilitarian and very much a staple piece that you can wear again and again and again with lots of different options. I want to start off with the Moonset tee. This is one of my absolute favorite patterns, and it is designed by Haley Smedley, who is also known as Ozetta on Instagram. It is a fingering weight pattern that she designed using Knitting for Olive pure silk. This is a really lovely base. I have used it multiple times. A couple of things about this fiber I will say is that the pure silk doesn't have any other fiber blended with it. So after you have knitted your finished item, this does tend to grow a lot. So if using this, I would definitely keep that in mind. I think that a really great option for this piece would be something that has a blend of wool and silk or linen. There's a lot of new bases that are coming out from hand dyers that have this great blend in it. I think another great option is the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. That's a really nice blend. This has a really nice size range with a finished bust circumference ranging from 36 inches to 63 inches. I love the V-neck. I think that a V-neck can elevate a simple pattern to something with a little bit more pizzazz or interest. This has not just a v-neck shaping, but it has a really nice little detail on the v-neck that gives it even that little bit of extra added interest. This is very simple. It does not have ribbing at the hem or at the hem of the sleeves, and because of that, I think this makes for a great staple piece that can be styled with a lot of different options, and it's just so classic that it's not going to be going out of style. This is something that you can carry through the years in a capsule wardrobe. Another tee I really like is the Emmanuel tee. Now, this is a pattern by Joanna Garish, or Colibri on Instagram, and this is a DK weight pattern. So this is going to knit up a little bit quicker. It is going to be a little bit warmer though. This has a size range of a finished bust circumference from 93 centimeters to 146 centimeters. I'm not going to convert that into inches because my brain's not working very well right now. I have actually been sick. I've got quite a bit of congestion, so I'm sorry my voice is either sounding really great or very scratchy at the moment. Maybe I've got a little Scarlett Johansson sound. We'll go with that. Something that I think elevates this tee a lot is the fact that it has some beautiful lace on the back. The front, however, is very solid and simple, so because of that, you could wear this as a very streamlined tee, but if you want to use this to add a little bit of visual interest, then you can make sure that the back is visible, and it is going to give you a little something special in your outfit. Again, this is a DK weight yarn, and Joanna used Hobie Friends Cotton Silk DK. I think that's a nice base to use. I think it would work up really nicely in a all-season tee. Before we move on to the next category, I would like to say a quick thank you for the sponsor of today's video. Taking care of my skin is something that is really important to me. I have extremely sensitive skin, and I have found that just going to the drugstore, trying different products, instead of helping, it almost makes it worse. I really just wanted someone to tell me exactly what I need to use. So I was so excited last year to start using proven skincare. I really like things that are science-based and backed. So I went online to Proven's Skin Genome Quiz. It doesn't take you long. It only took me about 3 minutes, and I just answered a lot of questions about my skin and my concerns. I think something that makes it so effective is that it takes into account things like your water hardness, your humidity, your exact location, and because of that, it's able to look at all of these different things. The UV index, then it does its science thing and is able to formulate exactly what your skin needs in a 3-step skincare routine. So it starts off with a cleanser, then you use a day moisturizer with SPF, which I'm a huge fan of, and then you follow it up with a night cream. Then they deliver it right to your door, and I love the fact that you get your own personal formulation card showing exactly what is in your routine. My favorite part of my 3-part skincare routine is the cleanser. I absolutely love it. This cleanser just feels so refreshing when I'm using it. And I have to say, I think my skin really likes it. One of the ingredients I really appreciate in it is the witch hazel extract. It really helps to fight inflammation, and that's something I really need. Again, I love the fact that my day moisturizer is not only lightweight and creamy and moisturizing, but it has that SPF in it, which is one of the #1 things you need to protect your skin. And I actually like the way mine smells. I think that's a nice added little bonus. My night cream is really nice because it has multiple serums in it, as well as just the moisturizing part. So while I'm sleeping, it is working really hard to get my skin ready to go and look nice and refreshed in the morning when I wake up. Now, your ingredients are going to be different than mine, and that's what makes this work so well, because everyone's skin is different. You're not just going and grabbing something off the shelf at a drugstore that is a one-size-fits-all. This is really customized and tailored to what you need. But what I think is truly amazing is that this is going to change and adapt with you. You can even look a few months ahead and see how your skincare is going to change, because what I need in the winter is not what I need in the summer. So if you want something science-backed that tells you exactly what you need, simplify your routine, go to provenskincare.com and use code YoungFolk99 to get 50% off the retail price. Thank you so much, Proven, for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now, on to more capsule wardrobe knits. Something that definitely needs to have a place in a handmade wardrobe is just a classic, simple pullover. And there's a few options for this that I think are fabulous. First of all, I want to talk about the Drk Everyday sweater, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. This does have 9 sizes with a finished bust circumference ranging from 34 inches to 66 inches. So that's really nice. I like the simple lines of this. The collar it's nice. It's kind of a mock neck ribbed collar, which I think hits in a very flattering spot for most people. I like that the sleeves are more close fitting. They're not baggy and creating extra bulk. This is going to be something that you can wear under your coat very easily, which is important whenever you are going to be wearing something often. I also like the fact that it's just so simple. You can make this pattern in different colors, and it's going to be a well-fitting top that you can customize because of this circular yoke. You can knit the yoke depth to the point that fits you best, and you can just get a really nicely fitting garment out of this, but by changing the color up, you can make this into a different sweater. I think this in a really nice earthy color, like she did in this brown, is going to be a great staple piece. I think it's something that would look great with trousers, over a dress, with anything. This is going to be a really nice staple piece. Another lovely pullover that I think would be beautiful in a capsule wardrobe is the SpaceTime Sweater. So this is a new pattern which was just released in March of 2024, and it was designed by Heidi Kermeyer, and I do apologize if I mispronounce that last name, but I absolutely love this with the option of doing a sort of mock neck collar here with no ribbing. I think that it makes this really fun and versatile and almost gives it somewhat of a blouse look. This calls for a DK weight, but it is a 22 stitch gauge, and because of that, I find that I could absolutely use a sport weight. I saw Melissa from Sonder Yarn Co. did test knit this, and I want to say she used a sport weight yarn, her new sport weight base. I think that would be absolutely lovely in this. And this is a pattern that, again, you could take this one pattern and make multiple colors of this, and it's going to contribute very nicely to your capsule wardrobe. I also think that it's nice to have a sort of knitted blouse. And my mind immediately goes to the Cumulus blouse, which is a pattern by Petite Knit. I think that this is knit with an air and weight gauge, but the way she does this is by holding multiple strands of mohair together. I am, of course, allergic to mohair, so I would not be using that, but I think you have the option of using a single strand or using suri. You can really change up your fiber bases to get a different look with this pattern. It's an 18 stitch gauge, and if you wanted it to have some openness to it, I think it would be really fun to use a DK weight yarn and then, you know, knit that on a US 7 or whatever needle size you need to obtain gauge. And you will have a nice flowy fabric. I think, though, that this is really fun in a fluffy base. The V-neck and the blouse shaping of the sleeves, it's just something that I think would pair really nicely with trousers to have in your capsule wardrobe. I can definitely see this even in a more beigey tone, a cream color, and I think that's going to give you a lot of versatility. This has a size range with a bust circumference from 37 3/4 inches to 61.5 inches. Okay, next up, I think something that is of absolute necessity to all handmade wardrobes is a cardigan.
On and said I was your favorite.
There's a few cardigans that I think are really lovely, and the first one I want to share is actually a free pattern, and that's the step-by-step cardigan, which was designed by Florence Miller. I did get to test knit this pattern, and I've got to tell you, it is a great pattern to add to your collection. This uses a worsted weight base. The designer chose to use Noro Madara, and I use that as well. I knit mine in the color 01 Sake, and it's a really fun tweed base that is still very neutral, and I think that makes for a perfect addition to a capsule wardrobe. Because of the tweed having some fun colors, you get a lot of interest, but also it's going to pair with so many different colors. It's going to match so well whatever color trousers you would wear with it, or whatever, you know, over the top of whatever dress you have sewn. I think this is a really great option. So this comes with a finished bust circumference of 75 centimeters to 155 centimeters. I knit the size F, which is the size 6, and I had some nice positive ease. I think it flows really well. I actually like to wear this buttoned up, almost like a pullover, and I have really been enjoying this. So there you've got a really great simple cardigan. I think it's also nice to add in a cardigan that has some pizzazz, if you will. And I think a great wardrobe staple would be the Winter's Beach Cardi. That's a pattern by Andrea Mowry. You can knit this in a nice neutral color, but those classic cables give it a lot of interest. And it has some beautiful pockets. I would also throw out the Book Club Cardi, which I am currently testing. That's a design by Sari Nordland, and it should be available mid-May. But it's a worsted weight gauge, and I really think that the cables, it has pockets as well. It does have some soft V-neck shaping with lovely buttons, and I think it would absolutely be a lovely timeless piece in a handmade wardrobe. I also think that some warmer jacket coat inspired knitted pieces are really appropriate to have on hand for your capsule wardrobe. There's a few patterns that I really like in this category, and one of them is the Miles shirt jacket. So this is a sort of shacket inspired pattern, and it is by Haley Smedley from Ozetta. I love the fact that it is longer, so it's gonna, you know, keep more areas warm, like your booty. It has some nice oversized shaping sleeves and a nice collar that's also going to come up and keep that neck warm. It is knit at an Aran weight gauge. It uses Wool Dreamers Manchalopes and has a great size range again. This is intended to be worn with quite a bit of positive ease, but there's a lot of great Aran weight yarns out there. I even think that this would be really nice in some drops yarn, which you could definitely make for a lower price. My mind also goes to the Esther Jacket, which is a new pattern released by Petite Knit this year in early 2024. It is a Aran weight gauge as well. It uses fingering weight yarns held together, I believe. It has that great size range again, but it has some lovely texture to it. I think that things that are simple are going to really last the test of time. I also think that they are going to be more easily paired with a wide range of garments that you have in your capsule wardrobe to create different outfits. To me, this hits all of those marks. And the texture does give it some interest. It's not boring and simple, but it also is simple enough that it's just gonna work so well with so many things. I also think about a very cozy cardigan that you can wrap up and feel warm in at home. I think that that's an important part of a capsule wardrobe as well, because I spend a lot of time at home, and so it's important for me to have some comfy loungewear type garments. And I think the Jenny cardigan by Andrea Mowry is a great pattern to have in your library. It uses DK weight yarn. She used Harrisville Designs Nightshades, which I think is a lovely, lovely yarn. I have some of the Daylights, which is the lighter end of this base. They have the Nightshades, which is the really dark colors, and they have Daylights, which is all the creamy light colors. I think that this big comfy shawl collar, simple texture, and wrap you up in cozy comfort is going to be something you would reach for daily. I have not made this pattern, but I would love to. I think that it is got everything you look for in a comfort knit. Another thing I think would be really nice in a handmade wardrobe is a vest. And I think that that's important because you can wear it over a dress. You could wear it over a button-up shirt with some trousers. You could wear it over a turtleneck with trousers. You could wear it over a t-shirt and with jeans. You just have so many different looks and transitioning so many different seasons. And one of the vest patterns that I have recently fallen in love with, I would love to eventually knit this, but it is the Urus Slipover by Eggo Knits. This vest is an Aran weight, which I think is great because it does have a lot of texture to it. So all these cables could take a little bit longer to knit, but again, because you're using that Aran weight, I think that it will knit up a little bit faster. You're knitting this on US 8 and US 6 needles, or whatever is needed to attain gauge. But again, I think that that is going to be something that knits up fairly quickly. This comes in 110 centimeters to 155 centimeters. It looks like all of the information is written on the pattern page in either Danish or Norwegian, but it does say the pattern is available in English. So you are covered there if you are an English-speaking knitter. I like the fact that this is going to give you a lot of leeway, too, because of the way it's knit. You knit this flat, and you have some open panels at the side. And that, to me, is nice because you can wear it over layers, and it's going to open up a little bit and give you some room to breathe. I love the toggle buttons on it. I love the sort of higher neck. I like the ribbing at the armholes. Just everything about this pattern I really like. And I think knitting this in a neutral color, especially a sort of creamy color, is going to give you the most versatility. But again, all those cables are going to give you some beautiful interest. Okay, last up in knitting, I want to talk about some shawls. I think that having some lovely shawls to wrap up in and be warm and cozy, but also use as a scarf in the winter, or to add something fancy over your dress. I think that that is something that a handmade wardrobe could really benefit from. And to me, the shawls sort of fall into two categories. One, very simple, very let me wrap up and just stay warm in this. Or two, this is really pretty and fun and I am wearing it because I want a pop for my outfit. And in the first category, I think a lovely pattern would be the Wellerman. This is a shawl designed by Caitlin Hunter, and it is knit up in a worsted Aran weight. She used the Hudson and West base forge, which I do have. It's a lovely blend of merino and Corriedale yarn. It's so soft and squishy, and it creates these cables beautifully. You really have a great stitch definition that you get for these cables. And I think that a very classic neutral color, whether you go with a light color or a dark color, either one, but very neutral, I think would serve this purpose very nicely. If you wanted to knit a shawl for some fun, then I highly recommend the Current Mood pattern, which is designed by Leslie Ann Robinson, or Knit Graffiti Designs, as she is also known. This has some very fun brioche and brioche shaping in it. You do use a fingering weight yarn, and you can use multiple skeins. I have, I think, 3 different skeins that I have picked out for this shawl from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. that I don't know why I haven't started yet. It's because I have too many test knits. But I think this is lovely for something really special to add on top of any outfit. Last but not least, we got to throw a hat in there for the knits, and I think a perfect option is the Manhattan hat. I recently knit the Manhattan worsted pattern by Tori Yu from Tori Knits NYC. It's just the most classic but fun hat. You have the texture from the ribbing. The ribbing makes it fit so nicely, and then you get this really interesting but low profile crown shaping that I think adds a little bit of hipster and fun to your outfit, but it also is something that is very wearable and will be forever. Let's chat about some sewing patterns. A very important part of a handmade wardrobe are some shirts. You gotta have some shirts in there that are not knitted. And I think a lovely option is the Austina boxy top sewing pattern, which is a free pattern you can find at thefabricstore.com. I have made this multiple times. I love the fact that it's free and that you can print it at home and piece your pattern together. You only need, about 2 yards of fabric, depending on what size you're making, maybe less. I think that this is absolutely lovely sewn up in linen. Linen is my all-time favorite fabric. In fact, I rarely sew with anything else because I think it's just the perfect year-round staple piece. I love this in a fun, bright linen, but I also think that in some nice neutral colors, this is going to be absolutely top priority for a handmade wardrobe. You can choose different sizes to get a different fit. If you want a lot of positive ease, you're going to get something flowy. If you choose something with less positive ease, it's going to give you a more close-fitting, smart look, and I like that as well. Now, something I think this would be absolutely lovely paired with is the bob pants. This is a sewing pattern from Style Arc, and it is extremely simple. If you are just getting into making your own handmade wardrobe and you want to sew some pants, this is the pattern. The pattern does not have pockets that you're attaching on the outside, which makes it very simple. It has an elastic waist. There's no buttons. There's no zippers. It does have inset pockets at the side, but those can be easily removed from the pattern by simply sewing your pants straight down. This is a great pattern to add in to your capsule wardrobe. Now, I also think that it's very nice to have some dresses in there. I have made multiple hinterland dresses, and I love them. I have short sleeve, I have long sleeve, I have buttons, I have no button placket, and this is a pattern by Sew Liberated. It has a really nice size range. You can sew this up in different fabrics, linen, cotton, silk. Choosing different fabrics is going to give you a completely different effect for all of these different dresses. But I think a great option too is to take the free pattern from the Austina boxy top and crop it to make a shorter bodice, and then just cut yourself out a rectangle 2 rectangles front and back and make a gathered skirt that you can attach to your Austina boxy top. I have done this multiple times now, and it is one of my favorite dresses to wear. So I think that you can definitely create some lovely sewing pieces easily to wear with your knits and sort of round out your handmade wardrobe. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoy videos like this, then make sure and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any future content, and it helps my channel a lot. I also always appreciate your comments and reading what you're up to and the great ideas that you give me. So if you have a pattern that you think is the perfect addition to a capsule wardrobe, let us know in the comments so that the rest of us can add it to our list. I hope you have a wonderful week enjoying your own making, and until next time, happy knitting, y'all.